Good morning, everybody. We are live betting for breakfast. Drumheller, Gleckner, Heat Ratio Sports. You know the deal. Make sure you like and subscribe over at the YouTube channel. That is the best way to support us. Here on a gloomy Saturday morning in Philadelphia. Happy 4th of July weekend to everybody. A nice, long, relaxing weekend. So we're going to chill out today, pick some winners, have a little fun, nothing crazy as we wind down this summer kind of and start getting into our roots. College football is going to be right around the corner. So, Dave, I cannot wait for that. But how are you making out? I see a little bit of clouds in the background.
Yeah, a little cloudy, but that's all right. We're about to celebrate a great, national holiday this weekend. Really excited to get a 3-day of unwind. You know what happens when you unwind? You're looking for a little action on the side to keep you busy over the weekend. So that's what we're going to do here, get into that a little bit. And, have a few cocktails, and it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of. It's a very nice weekend. I like these long weekends. I like to kick back. And it's like I don't want to say sports is winding down, but the summer sports is winding down, right? We're getting into the NBA finals. We're down to 3 teams, right? And we got one team on the ropes with the Atlanta Hawks. And then, speaking of on the ropes, we have the Stanley Cup finals, right? And the Montreal Canadiens, it's like the pumpkin. It's about to strike 12 o'clock and the pumpkin, is going to, the carriage is going to turn back to a pumpkin. I don't know what the hell that story is, Cinderella or whatever, but they're in bad shape, man. They're in ICU in Montreal.
Yeah, it's varsity versus JV finally coming out. Those teams like Toronto, Vegas, they got to be like kicking themselves right now. How did we let this team? And they fooled us a little bit because I thought they were, I thought Montreal would at least be live in this series. I ended up not taking anything series wise, but I lost them last night. I just thought that that heart they've shown throughout the first 3 series is gone. It ain't beaten.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think they're on their last legs. I think they're fighting. But it's really David versus Goliath, I feel like. But we'll get more into that matchup a little bit later. I want to start with basketball. We can talk a little bit of baseball, too, now that we're getting into the summer. Baseball really starting to heat up. You're seeing kind of the good teams separate themselves. And baseball, Dave, I want to get your take on this. Like, everybody's kind of talking about the substance checks and all that stuff, but I really do think it has impacted the game a lot. Like, the hitters are just at a much bigger advantage than they were early in the season. I don't want to say it's like an advantage in the sense of like, I don't know, maybe the pitchers just aren't on the advantage as much anymore, right? And they minimize the pitcher's advantage. So we're seeing the hitters take over, but I really think overs have been prevalent lately in baseball.
They have. I mean, it's been a trend. I don't have the exact numbers, but you can absolutely hit some overs a little bit more lately. I mean, just take the Phillies, for instance. Obviously, the bullpen is absolutely atrocious, but almost every game they play lately has been an over. Yesterday, I didn't hit. I mean, Zach Wheeler on the mound, still the bullpen can't hold a 3-0 lead for them. But you're right. I'm not sure the homers or anything are up since the sticky substance issue, but I do know that the hitting's up, and I do know the pitchers aren't going as deep. I do know they're not striking out as many. So it is a situation that you have to look at as a bettor and say, pick our spots, right? Pick the spots where you think that, hey, this team has an advantage. Look at team totals, and then look at game totals too. I think they're the better sides to bet for sure. I agree.
Yeah, definitely. And, the best bet in baseball right now just might be fading the Phillies towards the end of the game and just taking the live money line on the other side. It's unbelievable how bad this bullpen is, especially after they were historically bad last season. And now they're just like, hey, hold my beer. Here we come. We're just going to blow 22 games in the first half of the season or whatever those numbers are.
Yeah, it's historic again, right? It is just an absolute joke. What's up, Dan Green? And it's hard to watch, to be honest. I was saying it on 4th and Go the other night. I'm such a big baseball guy, and I can't even watch it. I can't.
Yeah, it's difficult.
It is. Stadium, and I want to go back there so bad. I have no interest in putting money into that team right now.
Paid all that money for Bryce Harper, and they can't get people in the stadium. It's incredible. Arroyo checking in, my man, dude. Bad Philly bullpen. You are not lying, dude. You are not lying. The bullpen is atrocious. KBO, I'm sure he's got some plays. Yeah, they're like KBO level, to be honest with you. Listen, guys, thanks for checking in. If you guys got any plays, definitely hit us up in the comments with those plays. We'll take all your questions, all the action. We got a big, long weekend to make some money, so we are definitely pumped up about it. But, Dave, let's start with the NBA, right? So the
Yes.
Suns advance. They beat the Clippers. I had to rip up some tickets. I had Clippers series. I had Clippers title. I had a plus 800. They just didn't have enough in the end. I really think they kind of ran out of steam. What was your take on that series in general? Obviously, the Suns in the driver's seat. A lot of people have them positioned as favorites, to win the title at this point. But what was your biggest takeaway, I think, from that series, Suns-Clippers?
Biggest takeaway is the Suns don't mess around, and I think the Clippers felt that at the end. You saw what Pat Bev did, one of the biggest cheap shots you'll ever see. Just total, DB move, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it does show that the Suns don't mess around. I mean, they're tough. You got the Jay Crowder kind of, get in your face, mess with you kind of deal, slap Paul George in the face on one play earlier in the series, but they just don't back down. And when you got them in Game 5, see what the Clippers did to Utah was once they got Utah, they never let them go. But you thought the Clippers got the Suns in Game 5, and the Suns were like, we're not the Jazz. And the Lakers did the same thing to the Suns early on too. They took the 2-1 lead, and then all of a sudden the Suns ripped 3 in a row, go up 4-2. They're tough, they're resilient, and I think it all starts with Monty Williams. I really do. The guy is calm, he's cool, he's collective, and then that breeds down to Chris Paul. You've seen him drums in the past. I don't want to say we're not big fans of Chris Paul. I just want to say that we see his the way he acts on the court sometimes is a little bit over the top. Yelling at pointing this way. He's done a little less of that this year, and it's with a young team. And look what he's doing. He's trusting his team. I think that comes down from Monty. And they're just tough, they're resilient, and they're calm and cool. Really, they're good. They're really good.
Yeah, they really are. And it's funny because when Chris Paul went to OKC, right? I think, that obviously everyone's knee-jerk reaction was, oh, poor Chris Paul, this is ridiculous. He's going to OKC. But I think that kind of allowed him to pivot a little bit in his career as a leader. Not that he wasn't a leader in Houston and those places, but it gave him kind of the ability to kind of say hey, okay, I'm going to start taking these young players under the wing, almost like a little bit of a, warm up for what he needed to do in Phoenix. And they come and they bring him in over in Phoenix, and he's already in that mold. He's already at that level with that mind state. And he's been the, consummate leader for that team, a young team that needs him. He knows when to push buttons, but you're right. He did kind of take a step back, obviously very passionate on the court, but did kind of take a step back and kind of let his leadership abilities take over. And I think that's what catapulted this team to the NBA Finals, to be honest with you. And I think it was a situation of where the Clippers just ran out of steam. I feel like that they physically, Paul George just physically kind of, ran out of gas, to be honest with you, as the series went on. And I think that, conditioning is something that we talked about all year in the NBA, right? The condensed schedule, a lot of games, right? And now we're, a lot of games where players are resting and load management. All that has come into play. But now I feel like I've seen two teams that were early season favorites. And we're talking about our priors going into the NBA season, all over Brooklyn, all over the Clippers, right? There were two teams that a lot of people had circled that could compete for the NBA title. And I feel like they had some injuries to star players, and they just didn't have enough stamina to kind of get to the next level. We saw Kevin Durant, a valiant effort against the Bucks, did everything humanly possibly he could. But when it came down to the last shot, just didn't have enough behind it to get it done.
Yeah, interesting. Remember when we had a show, I think it was 3 weeks ago, talking with the Atlanta Hawks fan, I said the Nets are playing too many minutes. They're playing their stars too many minutes. And that's a factor of injuries, no doubt about it. And you're trying to win games. And I think that did happen to the Clippers, but it was interesting that you say physically, because what Ty Lue said is, yes, they wore down, but he thought mental was the first culprit. He thought they were making mental mistakes because they were worn down. They were not sharp mentally. So I thought that was interesting that he thought the mental wear down was bigger than the physical. And it's interesting and it's possible. I don't know which one's right or wrong, but it's absolutely a fact that some type of stamina fatigue did hit in. Now, I won't blame that for the Clippers losing Game 6. They had all the momentum after Game 5. They were razzed and ready to go. They just didn't hit shots. And to be honest, they ran a zone against the Suns. They kind of surprised them in Game 5. Suns had 2 days to look at it. And they're like, all right, we got you. And they went right down low to Ayton. They drove right to the middle of the lane, used a couple lobs in there, and exploited that zone right away. So I do think it was more of the Suns, tactical advantage, their adjustments in Game 6 that won the game. But yeah, there was that absolutely some fatigue.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it was a chess match. You know what I mean? And Monty Williams deserves a ton of credit. But Al Griffin checking in. What's up, my man Al? Check Al out. Half Court Heat on the Heat Ratio Sports Network. Go like and subscribe. Al, give us your prediction for tonight's game, right? Bucks, Hawks, let us know what you're thinking. Al, definitely a great basketball mind, so excited to get his take. But yeah, I do agree with you. Like, I think, Monty Williams deserves a lot of credit, Dave. And Tyler was probably right? I think, some of the team broke down mentally. We saw Pat Bev explode, right? Obviously not, mentally where he should be in that type of game with that type of importance. But I think, like, from Paul George's standpoint, like, I think he was up to the challenge of taking over and leading the team with Kawhi not there. But eventually it just became too much, right? The weight became too much. And, maybe it was physically, maybe it was mentally, maybe it was a combination of both. But I just thought that was interesting considering the type of season that we had and considering that there was so much talk about load management. And I think a lot is going to go into next year when things normalize is how do they pace their star players, their core players for the postseason next season?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be, but you got teams that are figuring it out, right? So it's a little both ways. The Clippers are the Clippers. That's where I just still will go back to. They're a team that just always underwhelms when they, when you think they're there. So, weren't they up 3-1 against the Rockets in one series back in the day? Like, it's the Clippers, man. And the Clippers.
Yeah, it's like the curse of the Clippers, man. It's always like, the Lakers are the big brother, Clippers are the little brother, and they just can't get over the hump.
Last 2 years, they had a shot.
Yeah, lots of rumors about.
Denver. Yeah.
Yep, lots of rumors about Kawhi. You think Kawhi stays, or you think he moves on?
I mean, he's from out there. I do think he somehow finds a way to stay. Money talks. We've always talked about that. They can pay him the most. I think he stays. Of course, there's going to be rumors, but he's not a guy that builds coalitions. He's not a guy that's out there, trying to
networking. And I just think he doesn't care. He's like, I like LA. I'm going to play out here, and I'm just going to drag whoever's with me to the finals.
Yeah.
And he got hurt. He broke down, and it didn't work out. But they definitely would have been live if he was healthy. That's for sure.
I agree.
And real quick, Lillard caught hanging out with LeBron. You think Lillard ends up with the Lakers?
Nah. Teams don't let that happen. Like, what are the Lakers? They already traded the farm for Anthony Davis. They don't have much left as far as trade assets go. I don't see how they can pull off a Lillard trade. I mean, we'd have to give the farm. We'd have the Sixers alone would have to have Ben Simmons, Tybal, maybe even Maxey just to get Lillard.
I think that they would definitely need to. I think that they would need Simmons, Harris, and Tybal or Maxey, to be honest with you. And I think that would be the three that would probably have to get that deal done.
But what would the Lakers do? Like, those are two, like, all-star caliber players. Yeah,
they have, like, Kuzma, KCP. Like, those guys aren't getting nothing done. No. So that's the thing is they don't have depth. And a lot of these teams with a lot of these star power. And that's why, like, I want to talk about the Sixers real quick, then we'll pivot off, guys. We'll get with the Bucks in Atlanta. If you have predictions on the game, put them in the comments. We'll talk about it. But real quick with the Sixers, that's where I think some of the fan base isn't like, they're just like, go get Lillard, go get a star. Like, Embiid needs another star. And I 100% agree. Like, Embiid needs another top 10 player with him if he's going to win a championship in Philly. But I think the problem is you saw with Brooklyn, you saw with the Lakers, right? Like, those teams that went out and did that did not have the depth to get them through this season. And it's when you're building a roster, like, it's difficult. And listen, Brooklyn didn't have enough depth, and they went out and got Blake Griffin, and they went out and did all these things and still didn't have enough depth. They were still tired. They were still broke down. They were still injured. So I think that's a huge thing that teams need to consider when they're building these rosters. Everybody wants a couple stars, but when it's like a house of cards and you got nothing behind those players, it makes it tough.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I've always been of the opinion, great general managers find ways to build the bench, build the part of the winning team. And we have a lot of faith in Daryl Morey. And I would tell you that the Nets, they failed at the center position. And they thought they might have figured it out with LaMarcus Aldridge, and then he has to retire. So they tried their ways, but Yeah, they just weren't deep enough in a few positions, but that was a big one. So for the Sixers, I mean, my opinion, I agree with you. Embiid needs another star, but more importantly, it's a point guard. They absolutely like you can't have Ben Simmons drives down the court and the guy sags to the free throw line. There's absolutely no spacing, nothing in the world they can do. They can't run pick and roll because everybody's going to sag on him in the pick and roll. So then you run Ben down to the post. What's he do? He clogs up the lane behind Joe, who's trying to post up. There's just nothing.
Rarely though.
It's a yeah.
Joe tries to post up very rarely, but
he does first 2 quarters, and then he gets pushed out the 3-point line in the 4th quarter when he's tired. But yeah, it's a star player for sure, and I mean more importantly, it's a point guard. It's an absolute point guard. Ben Simmons has to become a power forward. He's never ever going to be your point guard. I'm convinced. I'm convinced.
Yeah. If you want to let him handle the ball in transition, that's fine.
That's fine. Yep.
They got a lot of work to do. It'll be interesting to see what those odds come out next year. But I think if they do move Simmons, I think it happens before draft day. So I think it's going to get hot quick.
Yeah. Did you see that proposed trade from Indiana?
Yeah, but you know what, dude? My guy Aton said it's trash. He said he talked to people in Indiana. They never.
Well, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd take that anyway. Brogdon in the 13th pick, only because I think I can do better. I have a lot of I like Brogdon. Don't get me wrong, but I think I can do better.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't make that deal. No way.
Yeah. If it was
much more,
if it was the 3rd, 4th pick in the draft, I'm all in.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can get the kid from Gonzaga. You can get, you can do some things there. Yep. And that kind of, to our point, that's kind of what that's all about. And then you get the point guard and you can kind of go from there and build a team. But Sixers got a long way to go. But let's talk about some teams that did not falter down the stretch.
Yeah.
Right? We'll talk about the Bucks and the Hawks. The Hawks, a team that ended our season, had me crying in my beers. Bucks +2. Road dog tonight against the Hawks. We had a total of 216, went down a little bit, right? The line went down. I think it opened at 2.5. I saw some 2.5s yesterday. Line now down to 2, right? So little money on the Bucks side, a little money on the under as the under goes down from 216.5. I saw it yesterday to 216. Playing the money line +112 on the Bucks, -134 on the Hawks. So we're looking at a win probability of about 57% for the Hawks and a win probability on the implied odds at about 47% from the Bucks, right? So I look at this number, you get a team like the Bucks, and of course, like every game so far in the postseason, the main story is the injuries, right? We really got to find out who's playing, who's not. It sounds like Trae Young is going to be able to go from some of the stuff that I read, and Giannis is a little bit more doubtful. Is that how you're kind of seeing things right now, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, Trae Young tested out the ankle in Game 5, right? So he did at least get out there in pregame warmups and try it out. Came back and said he couldn't go. My opinion, if they were down 3-1 in that game, he was playing. So now that they're actually down 3-2, it's do or die. He's going to play. How effective he's going to be, we'll see. But I definitely think he's going to play. And I think the same with the Bucks. Do you need to play Giannis tonight? No, because you have the safety of sending him another game, give him a little bit more rest, and you got Game 7 at home at worst. And I'm with Al. I really do think this is going to Game 7. I think that energy that Atlanta has brought each game, I just feel that again tonight. I feel like they're not going out without, a puncher's chance. And I do think it's going Game 7. Am I going to bet it? I'm not quite sure. I'm going to bet some different angles for sure. But, I think Trae plays, and I think he gives them that, injection of energy they need to push it to a Game 7.
Yeah, Al checking in. He said some of the rumors he heard: Simmons, Maxey, Thibault, Paul for a pick for Dame. He thinks it's way too much. I think it's a lot too, man. Like, you have to have depth. Like, I think depth hurt the Sixers in the playoffs this year. Obviously, we had to roll out the who's the guy, George Hill or whatever.
Yeah,
like we had to roll out these guys at the end of the year, and it's you're going to have no. I mean, I guess you would still keep Tobias in that. Scenario, so that would help. But
I would do it in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Yeah. I know it's a lot, but the thing is, you got about 3 good years of Joe left, in my opinion. Those knees don't, time is ticking on each one of those knees. And the sooner I can get a guy like Damon here, I mean, he can win a game. You've seen it. Oh man, I do it. I do it.
He can, but here's my question on that, right? So he can win a game, right? But he can't win a game where they have to play any type of defense, right? And that's what we've seen with Portland. They don't play any defense. They lose in the playoffs every year. And do we want to become Portland? Like that's the point. Is if we get rid of Maxey, we get rid of Thibault, we get rid of Simmons. Like, who's playing defense? Like, we couldn't cover Horter. Right? Like we could not cover Horter with all those players. Now we're going to get rid of them and bring in Dame and, who's covered? I guess you could try and get people in the free agent market and bring people in. But again, it's that depth issue when you get rid of all these people that concerns me.
I got you. I mean, Danny Green's still a good on-ball defender, even though he was getting cooked by Young. That's a bad matchup, but he's a decent on-ball defender. I mean, it'd have to be team defense. Obviously, Joe's a, first, second team defense behind Gobert. So, you have some. Don't get me wrong, but you lose that wing defense. I got you. Yeah. But here's I love Maxey, but he's never going to be much more than what we see. I'm convinced. Yeah. So if you can sell high, and now I love him as a six-man for the Sixers. Great, but if I can turn that into a Dame, Thibault's the one that bothers me a little because I really do. He's going
to be good, man. He's going to be really good.
But to get something, you got to give something.
That's true. But it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. The one thing I will say, right, we can talk about all the trade rumors. We can talk about Simmons, whether we think Simmons is going to develop into, a better player down the line, or whether he's just mentally not going to be able to overcome his challenges. We can talk about all these players. I do trust Morey to make the right decision. I don't think he's just going to give away Simmons. I think he's going to get value if he does move him. And if he does keep him, then I trust him as well. And I think he understands what he's doing. So that's kind of where I am with Morey, man. I think the dude's legit, and he's going to build this team in his likeness, and we're going to get there. I do think.
And I will say, I was against trading Simmons for James Harden. I was. I just did not.
I was too, yeah.
Part of that for me was, look, I still had faith in Simmons, but also I'm just not a Harden guy. I just don't think you win with Harden. And, okay, maybe I was, who knows, right? But what it showed me was Morey was ready to pull the trigger. I think he already knows what he has in Ben. So we'll see. I do think you're right. I do think he's not going to get nickels on the dollar, though. This guy's a real GM.
Well, that's what I mean. But I think the challenge he has is, you're not getting that type of player now. Because, not only did he have a terrible postseason, but your coach and your best player went out and trashed him in the press conference, right? He's you're not – you ruined that chance. There's no chance in the world you're getting a player like James Harden. So, that's why you're getting, the rumors are Brogdon and stuff like that. So they're playing the high-low game. Colin Sexton. So they're playing the high-low game. They'll meet in the middle probably around draft day. We'll see what we come up with. But I do trust Morey in this situation, and Morey we trust – my man, I think he'll get it done. But let's get back to the Bucks.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's 5-6 good players here. But
that's what I mean. So if you can find value and get a decent pick and a decent player, we'll see. There's so much you can do. It's fun. It's going to be fun.
Yep. So let's get back to this game, Bucks-Hawks. You think the Bucks put up a fight tonight?
But
it's a close line, but you think they lose?
Yeah. So have you ever seen the Bucks close it out when they should? I mean, I guess Miami this year, but come on, man. This is destined to go 7. That's what the Bucks do.
What do you think about how the offense looked without Giannis? We got big contributions from Portis. We got obviously Middleton looked a lot better. Holiday looked a lot better. Not saying they're better without Giannis, because what he does around the rim against this Atlanta team is such a huge advantage for them. But I was very impressed with the way that they were able to step up without him.
Yeah, look, it was, I'm going to be honest, it was all Drew Holiday. And he just changed that game. I mean, he drove the lane. He was able to take care of his matchup with Lou. Then they eventually had to switch some other guys onto Holiday. And he dominated that game. No, he ended up, 25 points. So he didn't lead the team in scoring. But Brook Lopez, I think, ended up with 20-plus points in the paint. He hadn't scored 20-plus points in the paint in the last 3 months. The way he was able to drive, and then Bobby Portis being able to get in the lane as well. It really was a different offense. I don't think it's one that's sustainable. So if that's your point, it looked great. But with Giannis out, Giannis likes to get the ball at the top of the key and pound, and try and do a spin move. And, there's not a lot of good flow movement. But without him, they were able to move a lot better, and they really used a lot of the good cutting lanes. So that's what I was impressed about. Lopez, Portis, even Middleton, really good hard cuts to the ball into the rim. So it'll be interesting. I think they have to double Drew tonight. I think they got to get the ball out of his hands. So that's where I think the Bucks need to come and just stop him from penetrating the lane.
It's a little hilarious because I did kind of give them some smoke when they went out and got Holiday, and I was like, you know what, thinking that he's really going to make the difference down the stretch in the playoffs for this Bucks team. I thought was a little optimistic, right? But here we are, right? There's no LeBron, there's no Kawhi, there's none of these teams. The East is wide open. They're playing the Atlanta Hawks in the Eastern Conference Finals, and here comes Drew Holiday looking like the best player on the court.
Well, he hasn't been that great in the playoffs, but he definitely they had an interview with him after the game. They're like, Drew, I think it was Barkley or Shaq. Why don't you play like this every game? He's like, people always ask me that. Like, you got problems if that's your answer, man. Yeah. I mean, everybody knows you're an up-and-down player.
If I was more consistent, I wouldn't be Drew Holiday. I'd be somebody else much better. You know what I mean? But
he's mad.
Respect him. No, he's stepping up when they need him, and that's what you went out and get him for. So, awesome stuff. Real quick before we move on from basketball, well, I want to talk a little bit about the title odds. But so you like the Hawks tonight? Anything on the total 216?
No, I would probably. I
lean over.
Oh, I was going to lean under. I don't see a shootout again. I think you're going to – the Hawks play really good. And it didn't show up in Game 5, obviously, but showed up in Game 4. They play good defense without Trey. Now, with Trey back and he's on, less than – we'll have to see. I'm not really thrilled with the numbers.
I think with Trey in the game, it gives them a boost on their offense. And I think with Giannis out, I think that Bucks defense is a little different. We'll put it that way, right? So, I think we could see an over here. I kind of lean towards the over on this one. But so if you like the Hawks, Dave, would you recommend laying the 2 points or just hitting the money line at the minus 134?
Yeah, 2's fine. Not many games end up, as a 1-point win. I'll live with it if that's what it is. I would probably take the 2. I think 134 is a little high with juice. So, 120 is more in my area. I don't like to go too high with the 2. So, I'd lay the 2.
All right. You heard the man. Let's talk about the title odds.
You holding off?
I'm holding off. My picks are going to be in my 3 packs at the end. So stay right with us. Don't go anywhere because we will have our 3 best plays of the day.
Yeah, I got 2 player props.
Right? 3?
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Wait. So I got a golf matchup, NBA game, and a Major League Baseball game. A little chin music.
Yeah,
we'll be whipping at you.
You know what?
You like that? Loosening up the arm.
Yeah, they throw one with seams on it, right?
The ball they do. Seams. I'll tell you, just like softball, it's just a little smaller.
I got you.
You know what I mean? I loosened up the arm, put on the cleats about a month back. Did pretty good. Played a doubleheader. Nice. Had to lay on the couch for like 7 days after that because I used muscles in my body that I haven't used in a million years. But
that's all right. The couch is fun.
Yeah, we got it done. We iced ourselves up, and look at me now. I'm like a statue. Right back at it. NBA title odds, Phoenix Suns leading the way, minus 175. Just sitting at home, relaxing, resting up in the rocking chair, getting ready to play the NBA Finals. We talked about that, minus 175 for the Suns. Milwaukee, plus 180. Atlanta, plus 1,200. And that just kind of gives you a glimpse of what the market believes in Atlanta as far as their opportunity in coming back and winning that series against the Bucks. So very interesting. Plus 1,200 for the Atlanta Hawks, down 3 games to 2 against the Milwaukee Bucks. But let's talk about the Suns first, right? Everybody has these Suns tickets from the beginning of the year. It's crazy. I didn't hear anything about them until about a month ago, but all of a sudden, everybody was on the Suns since the beginning. So God bless you if you have a Suns ticket. I'm just a little bit jealous. But let's talk about that minus 175 implied odds, 63%. Do we think that is fair, Dave?
It's fair. It is. But it's not one that I don't touch right now. I still don't touch because, I got Milwaukee 2.5 after they won the, 250 plus 250 after they won the Brooklyn series. And you're telling me right now their odds are just about the same. after winning another series. Like, that's what we got now. Like, it's a lot of public bias, I think we're seeing with how good the Suns are playing and how hard it is for the Bucks to get through Atlanta. For me, I can't touch this line until I see Giannis's health. I mean, because if he gets better, I do think that the Phoenix line goes down. So if you like Phoenix, you can wait on that. And if he gets better, I think your chances of Milwaukee winning obviously go up. So I'm not in to the market right now. I gotta see what the health is of these players. But how about you?
I think it's fair. I think the Giannis injury is a big sticking point here because I think they are going to need them against the Suns in the finals, right? We saw the Suns wings players and how good they are, and especially with like Ayton in the middle, like he should have his way with Lopez, I would think, in that series. So it's going to be like an advantage for them. So they're going to need some help down low, and we don't want too much PJ Tucker in there, right? If we're Bucks fans. So, I think it is fair when I look at it. I do like Milwaukee in the series. I expect them to advance. I'm not really, handicapping this as if, Atlanta is going to make a 2-game run here and win that series. But I just think with the Giannis injury, man, injuries have been the story of the whole postseason. It's not only will he come back, but it's like, what does he look like when he comes back? How effective is he going to be, when he comes back? Arroyo checking in, dude. Wants that NBA prop, dude.
I got one.
We got you. It's at the end of the show. Last segment, the 3-packs. We're running about 30 minutes, so hang tight, man. Crack a beer, my man Arroyo, and we will be ready. We'll have those 3 plays for us. Vinny checking in. We're killing it 100%. Thank you, my brother. Keep tuning in, keep supporting us, like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. And our man, Adam Cease. Love to Cease, man. Yeah.
Hey, Mickelson made the cut.
Mickelson made the cut, but you know who the other guy he talked about? And Adam, I don't want to put you on blast, but I think Adam asked about Harrington, who was like plus 20, I think. I think he was like last place. But Adam, dude, my guy, dude, always appreciate you checking in. Let us know, Adam. What do you think is going to happen with this NBA Finals? Are you Suns? Are you Bucks? Or are you long shot Hawks? Adam, definitely let us know. We want to hear what you're thinking. Appreciate all you guys checking in. Back to the title odds, right? Milwaukee plus 180, Atlanta plus 1,200. I think, let's assume Milwaukee advances, right? I think we both believe Milwaukee's going to advance. Like, what do you expect this to be lined at? Like, do you still expect, if Milwaukee advances, Giannis is healthy, do you still expect the Suns to be favored?
I do. I think the Suns will still get home court advantage. That's what I was just double checking. I think they had a little bit better of a record. So I got them about 150 if Giannis is healthy. I think it goes down just a little.
I think that makes sense. Might be a little bit value on the Bucks at that number. We'll have to see. It's not that I'm not a believer in the Suns. I am, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Like it's
hard. It's hard, man. Chris Paul's never been here.
I feel like the market really, really, it's hard, because I believe in the Suns. Let's put it this way. This might be a better way for the listeners. I believe in the Suns. I believe in the Suns a lot. I feel like the market believes in the Suns a little bit more than I do, right? And I think that that's kind of where you're seeing the differentiation in the price. We'll probably be playing some, Suns money line during the series because I think, the points might be a little crazy, but we'll take that as it comes. Adam checking in, man. He thinks the Bucks and the Suns, but he thinks the Bucks will beat them.
I think, I'm leaning that way.
Dan Green comes off the top rope, says Suns in 5. Suns in 5. I like Dan, dude. Dan's a man of conviction.
Yeah, and I like it. Listen, the Suns are the better team, and I'm convinced Milwaukee's a city, a team that chokes. But it's that market. I'm telling you, I'm with you, Drums. I think
the market's a little high on the Suns.
I think there's too many people loving the Suns. They might start smelling themselves a little bit, and it might not smell too good by the end of the series. Yeah,
if you're going to bet the Suns in that series, hit the openers because I think the public's going to be pushing that like you wouldn't believe. Dan, hang with us. We're going to be talking about hockey in a little bit, man. I want to hear from you definitely with the hockey stuff. So best play on this board, Dave. NBA title odds today, right now, subject to change. We're not betting this today, but if you were to place a wager today, would you stick with the Bucks since you already have the ticket?
No. If you made me throw,
you would go Suns.
Yeah, I would go Suns on this line. Again, I already got a Bucks ticket, so in a way it hedges it. But the other thing is, I'm not confident in Giannis's health today. So
I'm not either.
Yeah.
I'm with you there in the Suns. I would not love the minus. I don't love the minus 175, but you take what the market gives you. Yeah, Suns.
that guy.
Roy not playing, dude.
He's serving up 2 pieces, Suns and 4, and a couple more 2 pieces. That guy is the best.
But did you see the interview with the dude who got lit up?
Yeah,
like sitting there, like he wasn't really hurt. He got scratched, dude. He like ran away crying, dude, with his stuff pushed in. His nose all pushed in, and he's like,
he cheap shot it to start it.
Right,
and,
he tried to sneak him, and he got caught.
Yeah,
and you know what they say, man? You swing at the king, you best not miss. And he should just move to Europe. If I was him, I would just move. I'd leave the USA, man.
Yeah,
that's awful. Well, here's the thing, too. Well, this is it, dude. Like, and Arroyo states it best here. Real life has real consequences, and that's 100% true. But the other thing too is like, dude, like we've all been in fights in our life, right? Yeah. Nobody's undefeated. Like, we take some lumps sometimes. You just take your lumps. So you'd be like, hey, listen, the dude got me, man. I would love to run it back. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, say that. Like, but don't go out there being like, oh, I'm not even beat up. Like, dude, you're like, your face is plastered. You're getting, you're just sitting there begging the guy to stop. You're begging him to stop all over social media. The whole world sees it. And then you pretend like everyone's got amnesia, telling them that the sky's purple. It's like, come on,
ran.
You just got smoked.
And you ran.
You ran up the stairs.
You weren't hurt.
Got the cops.
Why are you running?
You ran and got the cops.
Yeah.
Wild stuff, man. Wild stuff. But so Suns of the play right now. Let's get over to the frozen pond, as they like to call it. And I love these hockey playoffs, although I will be honest with you, this Stanley Cup final is not real competitive, right? So let's talk about the odds. Tampa Bay wins again. I was on the over last night, cashed in, got a little bit of extra cheddar today because of that. Cashed in on the over. And the reason why I was on the over is because the Lightning just can't stop scoring. Carey Price doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where they play. Tampa Bay Lightning can't stop scoring. And they are, have a stranglehold on this series, up 3-0. We know that, the odds of them bouncing back of being 3-0 are like nil. We're not even going to really talk about what the series odds are for them to win. I do want to talk about the over-under with 4.5 games, whether we expect this to be 4.5 or 5 games. So, Dan, if you are still listening, my man, let us know what you think. Do we think this one's going 5, or do they have the brooms out? But let's talk about game 4. On the money line, right? Tampa minus 162, plus 140 if you're going to back the Canadians to avoid the sweep. The over-under is still at 5, but it is heavily juiced at minus 137, which makes sense to me. I'm probably going to be on the over 5.5. Doesn't make a difference to me. I see goals. Under plus 112, if you like that plus money, that's your play. But when I see game 4, Dave, do you see anything changing? Or is this just going to be, Montreal continuing to get tuned up?
Yeah, I want to say like they're going to come out and have a little Ric Flair heart, come back from the dead, nature boy. You know how he does, but I don't think it's going to happen. I do think this one is the story's been written. The ending's already, pressed in ink, and we're chiseling names on that cup because I think it's over in 4. I just, if it was not a team that has already won, I'd say maybe they wouldn't know how to close it out. I think Tampa knows how to close it out, and I think they're ready. Man, they're good, and give them the world of credit. I think it's over game 4.
Yeah, Dan Green checking in. Told you both 5 is too low based on the patterns. Sweep. He says get the brooms out. Adam Cease again checking in. Tampa, definitely a sweep. Everybody loves Tampa. Tampa sees blood in the water. Arroyo, he's asking if you have a Tampa future ticket. I do not have a Tampa future ticket. I had Colorado, and they let me down against Vegas. So I was kind of happy. And then I bet the Canadians because I was mad at Vegas, and that one paid off. So, but no, I don't have anything really going on. I'm just kind of betting these game by game. And it really looks like this one is over to me. I mean, I just think that, again, we talk about it. It's not that Montreal doesn't have the heart. It's not they don't have great young talent. It's just that even with all that, it's still not enough. Like Tampa Bay, too deep, too strong. Here's a question for you. Like, I think game 4, like, I'm going to play probably the Tampa money line and the over. I'm going to probably play them both. Minus 162. I'm fine. I'll lay it. Over 5.5, whatever. I'll probably wait for it to get to 5.5 and play that, to be honest with you, then play the over 5. Because it looks like it's headed in that direction. Dave, I have a question. If Vegas did get through, do you think that it would be a better series? Because I'm not sure it would be the way Tampa's playing.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be somewhat better. I mean, the situation here that we see is the offenses are just, they're too far apart, right? And
right.
I think at least Vegas could have held somewhat of their own offensively against Tampa. Does Fleury fare better in net than Price? Maybe a little, only because their defense on the back end's a little tighter, but it's not much. I think Tampa probably wins that one in 5 the way they're playing.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I just think that they are peaking at the exact right time, which is it's incredible. Back to back for Tampa. They win the Super Bowl on their home ice. Not their home ice. They win the Super Bowl on the home field. Then they get these back to back cups. The Rays went to the World Series. Like,
it's crazy.
It's fun in Tampa.
Think about the Islanders, right? Vegas and TB definitely would have been way better. But think about the Islanders. They had this team, man. They took these champs to 7, and it was 1-0 in Game 7. That's how good the Islanders were playing. When you look at the Stanley Cup Finals now, oh man, would have been fun seeing them maybe dial one up. But hey,
so listen. So in the NHL, and I wanted to bring this up because I thought this is a great talking point for our listeners. If you go over to DraftKings now, you can see these odds. Tampa minus 162, unless they moved them, plus 140 for the Canadians in Game 4. If you go to the series over-unders, you can bet, do you think the game's going to go more than 4.5 games? Do we think we're going to get to a Game 5? Do we think we're going to get to a Game 6? Do we think we're going to get to a Game 7, right? So you can bet over-under 4.5, 5.5, 6.5 games, right? So the series over-under for 4.5 was plus 135 for Montreal, minus 167 for Tampa, right? So that's the kind of the big situation with that. So if you compare that to the Stanley Cup Finals odds, there's a little bit of a difference, right? And that's kind of what you need to do as a sports bettor. You want to kind of shop around and see different ways you can attack the same outcome.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I mean, you got to have a couple.
Does that make sense, Dave?
It makes a ton of sense. You got to cut. Look, I mean, I do it with these player props in basketball. You'll see times when they're off by point and a half between 2 books. So yes, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you hear me?
All right. Yeah, I can. Yeah, the volume was going kind of crazy, but I'm good now. I apologize. A little bit of a technical difficulty on my end, but yeah. So you want to kind of shop around on the like you can get the series price. So if you like, Tampa on the money line, you want to play it on the game. If you like, Montreal, play the game odds. Don't play that series 4.5 because the odds are worse. For each team. So you want to kind of make sure you're looking at it. Any chance this goes to 6 games, right? The over under 5.5. I think we're all saying no. If you do think this is going for 6 games, you can get plus 475 right now. Pretty big number. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they'll be lucky to get this thing to 5 games. I don't think Montreal can turn this thing around and make it a competitive series at all. But wanted to point that out to the listeners. Look at the series price, look at the money line game, especially when you get towards the end of the series and things become a little more clear. You get a little more clear of a picture because you can kind of play those odds differently, right? You know what I mean? Look at the odds, see where they are in different spots and try and figure out the best way to kind of attack the books to get the outcome that you think is going to happen. Definitely good stuff there. But yeah, I think it's Tampa Bay time. I think they win the cup pretty easy. Dan checking in, talking Corsi stats. Vegas and Tampa own the Corsi stats zone time. He thinks it would have been a better matchup. I agree. Yeah. I mean, it probably would have been, but I think that Tampa probably still steamrolls them anyway. maybe it goes 5 or 6. I think this one goes 4. But let's make the people some money, Dave. Let's get into our 3 packs. We're at the 45-minute mark. So we got 3 plays. We do this segment every week, our 3 best plays of the day. So we're going to roll them out. I have a golf matchup, right? Things going very well for me in golf. I hope that continues today. Joaquin Niemann, the outright Kings, are back on top of the leaderboard. He doesn't tee off till later this afternoon, around 2 o'clock, maybe a little bit before. And then our guy Kokrak, Dave, soaring up the board. Love to see that. Bryson was the only one I got wrong, right? Bryson fires the caddy and just completely falls apart this week. That's disgusting. I was very disappointed in Bryson.
Yeah, and when there's smoke, there's fire. There's something going on there, and we know. My favorite part, though, the whole thing was Brooke Koepka's tweet. Did you see that?
Yeah, Caddy Appreciation Day.
Yeah, Caddy Appreciate. Cheers to the best in the game, the best ever do it. Ricky Elliott, here we go. How good of a tweak is that? I mean, think about it. You could have gone anyway. Like, I would never fire my guy. No, instead he just.
I appreciate my guy. I love it, dude. Team Brooks all the way, man.
Yeah. But yeah, Bryson's disappointment. I missed on Webb. Reed doesn't look like he'll get there, but he's still got some live odds. I'm looking all right in a Fowler top 30.
Nice.
There's still some guys in there I got in play too, but Kokrak's going to be the one I'm definitely hedging on. I have a little on Nyman too, just because I tend to bet what you bet and I bet what I bet. Yep.
Yeah. Hey, man, you heard a very smart player talk about Joaquin, and you were like, listen, I got to get behind this guy.
He was like the 4th or 5th guy. I was right there. So that when you said it was an auto plug for sure.
Listen, I'm half of the outright Kings, so you got to listen to me sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So our man Arroyo checking in. He's done with Reed. Reed's my guy, dude. But I didn't like him this week. I didn't touch him, but it looks like I'm very happy with the way things are going. I do have a matchup play I'm going to talk about. Do we want to start with the golf plays?
Yeah, fire away.
All right. Let me start with the matchup play, and I'm going to go with one of my favorite guys, man, who I've been off for a little bit of a while. That's Max Homa. I'm going to take Homa today against Pat Perez, right? Pat Perez, one of the most funnest golfers on tour, right? Love me some Pat Perez, but not today. Not betting on him. Just like watching him golf. But I like Max Homa here, minus 139. He's 2 strokes gained greater off the tee than Pat Perez so far this weekend. 2 strokes gained approach, 4.5 strokes gains better tee to green, right? Perez has held a very significant putting advantage so far, but Homa still, positive strokes gained, still hitting the flat stick okay. I expect that to continue. Homa was 7 under yesterday, right? So I'm just going to kind of ride that, ride his hot streak now. I think he's going to, go into it. A lot of people were talking about Homa this weekend as a possible outright play. He's right in the mix, so I think he has to be competitive. I like him here against Pat Perez at minus 139. I think that putting variance shrinks a little bit, and I think Homa ends up being the better golfer today.
Dude, I like it. I think I threw Homa's name out there on Wednesday night too. A guy that does fit the the stats we like on this course, and Luke, he showed up, and Homa's that kind of guy, man. He can get rallied around that town in Detroit, and I like Homa. He's going to be a live player. Even looking at him now, you can get 10-1 on him to win the tournament.
I know.
And I think
I actually thought about it, but if you guys remember and you guys are listening, I promised myself I was not doing these Saturday outrights anymore. I would not do live outrights until Sunday, because I feel like when I do it, they completely tank.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing it anymore. I'm waiting till Sunday. Hopefully I still have Kokrak and Niemann live, but I agree. I think Homa is going to be right in the mix. I think he has another good day, and I think he's going to take care of Perez in style.
Yeah,
like that.
No, I like it, and I'm looking at Homa for me. One of the key metrics I like. He's 4th overall in strokes gained tee to green this week, so really like that, and that leads into my bet. I'm going with the golf matchup too, and I'm going with the guy who leads the field in strokes gained tee to green this week, and that's Jason Kokrak. Yeah, you're going to have to spend a little bit of money today in his matchup, but I mean, when you lead the field in strokes gained tee to green, we know what his game is, and what is the part that is struggling the most for Kokrak right now? His putter. His putter has actually let him down completely. He has one of the lowest he's right at the bottom in strokes gained putting. He's minus 1.75 in strokes gained putting, which puts him right now at, oh, it's below the cut line. I can't add up the number, but it's bad. So today you get a guy that hasn't put well. He was absolutely striping the ball all over the course, and he's minus 200 against Robert Streb. I love it. We know Kokrak can putt. I do think that gets better today if we can just keep the ball striking straight, keep it tight. I think this one's a runaway. Now, I will say this in all clarity. I screwed up last week. I had the worst golf matchup bet possible as my guy lost by about 15 strokes. KH Lee, you're on my ban list, but today I feel good. I think we're coming back. I'm sticking with what I do. I'm sticking with the key numbers that I like, and I missed it last week, but I ain't missing it today. Kokrak minus 200, Robert Streb. Book it.
I love it, dude. And I like Kokrak. I actually tweeted it out last night that I was going back and forth with, I think it was Jim Dudek. He was kind of asking me, what plays I liked, and I kind of let him know I'm on Homa. I said, but I really liked Kokrak, but I just wasn't sure if I wanted to play that price. So a little bit pricey, but I think definitely it lines up to being a winner, right? Like if it cashes, it cashes. Like it doesn't really, at that point, the price doesn't really matter. I think it's a winner. I just didn't pull the trigger. I ended up deciding going with Homa. With the two outrights that I have live, I didn't want to do two matchups, so I decided to go with Homa. But you guys listening out there, man, play them both. Hit them both up. You get two winners right there, and that's how we want to start our Saturday. That's how we want to start our 4th of July weekend with some fireworks.
Yeah,
on the golf course.
No doubt, and I think it's a tournament. I'm actually a little bit surprised the number didn't go much lower yesterday. So I brought Nyman right into the game. I mean, wasn't the opening leader at 7, and I think it didn't get more than 10. So Bubba's firing like crazy today, so he's back in it. It's going to be a good weekend of golf. So let's get a little winners today. I'm with you. And
what do you think about What do you think about Higo?
Well, so Higo, again, a guy we love here at betting for breakfast, obviously. Playing well. I think he ended up -5. So he's definitely in this tournament. And the way he can shape it and bomb it, and this does set up for, a lefty with a cut. He can do it. I definitely think he can do it. I just think I probably wouldn't put any money on an outright win, but I would definitely look at him right now as, in his matchup today. I think it's a good matchup. I was looking earlier. I think he'll be live money. I just not sure.
His matchups against Matt Jones. So that's what that guy Jim was Jim was checking in, Jim Dudek, yesterday. He's playing him against Matt Jones. I thought that was another solid play. Yeah,
I do like that play. Matt Jones, another guy that can putt. We saw him win earlier this year when his putter was just amazing. But overall game, Higo's got him everywhere else.
All right, let's go back now. We got 2 more plays each, but there are golf plays. Punch those in. Let's make some money. And I'm going to go to the NBA, right? We talked about the NBA. We talked about the game, not expecting Giannis, expecting Trae Young. And listen, I get it. Like, Giannis not being there is a big hole to fill, right? 28, 12, and 5 in the postseason. Porter stepped up, put up 22 and 8, right? Can he do it again? But I like the Bucks here, and as the dog, I like them. I think they are going to close out the series. I'm just going to play them on the money line, and I'm not even going to take the points, 1 point, 2 points. I don't think it's going to matter. I think we saw Middleton start to get going. I think the Bucks got a huge game out of Bogdanović and still really couldn't be that competitive, right? And I think, they get Trae Young back. I get it. That's going to be a lift. They have the crowd. I get it. But, all that puts Milwaukee in a tough spot. But, my question is, we talked about Giannis when he comes back in the finals. How effective is he going to be, right? And I have questions on how effective Trae Young's going to be. Are you going to get another game like that out of Bogdanović? Are you able to count on him that way? Who are you really going to be able to lean on with Atlanta if Young isn't effective and has to be more of a distributor, right? I just think that Atlanta's just not deep enough. I think it's a valiant effort, what they did. I think Nate McMillan has done a tremendous job in Atlanta, but I just think, we talked about the over, and I think you see a similar offensive output from a balanced Bucks offense that, has the skill set to take advantage of what Atlanta brings to the table on defense. I expect Middleton to have a good game. I expect Holiday. I expect them to move the ball around. And I expect Portis. I mean, he might not put up 22 and 8, but I think he's going to come ready to play. So I like the Bucks on the money line in this game. Take the dog. The dogs are barking. They're going to close out the series. Everyone wants to see Phoenix and Milwaukee. Let's just get to the finals.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, I think it's a good pick. Like I said earlier, I still do like Atlanta in this series. I think they're just that team. Every time we've counted them out
in the game, not the series, right?
No, in this game. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time we've counted them out, every point in this playoffs, they've come back. And I'm just going on past history. I think they'll find a way to now adjust. I think they'll have a defensive strategy for Drew Holiday. But that's not my pick. I got 2 player props. Been playing a lot on the Shooters Lounge. Actually 4-2 so far this week on player props over there. And looking strongly at 2 guys I really like today. Last week I gave out Middleton, and that's the only game he's going over. So hold that thought real fast. I'm actually going with Kevin Huerter over the 12.5 today. The guy keeps getting the minutes. He keeps getting the shots. They're just not falling. He shot 3 for 12 last game. This is similar to what Bogey did in game 3 and has come back and shot the lights out in games 4 and 5. I think Herter's probably going to spend a little more time in the gym over the last couple of days. I think we're going to see him put up some numbers tonight. 38 minutes, 12 shots. You're telling me you just got to find a way to get 13 points. I think he can do it at home. I think they're going to have Tucker on Bogdanovich. I think it frees up Huerter a little bit. And I like his matchup today. I actually like PJ Tucker a little bit with the over, but I'm not going to touch that. I mean, he got 38 minutes last game, but only 5 shots. The only reason I think he'll get a little bit more is because you're going to see Drew Holiday. I think you're going to see him bottled a little bit.
Demand attention, yeah.
Yeah, and as he gets bottled, Portis gets bottled a little bit more, even though I kind of like the Portis number. I'm going to go back to the Middleton, and I'm going to dip in there too. Over 27.5, he still was able – Listen, he was like a 3rd, 4th fiddle last game and still put up 26. It was the Brook Lopez show, the Bobby Portis show, and the Drew Holiday show. And Middleton's still there, 10 to 20, puts up 26. We saw when they needed him most, game 3, he outscored the Hawks in the 4th quarter alone, had 21 points. I think he knows what tonight's going to be. If they're going to clinch it, it's going to be his game to win. And I think he gets hot again. I think 27.5 is a good number, but I think it's a number we can go over. Now, bettors beware. He's only gone over that number once versus Atlanta. But I do, and I hit it the one time he did. This is the only other time I've played Middleton. It's the only 2nd time. But I feel tonight's the next night he does it. And I like his 27.5. Again, I expect strategy to be bottle up Drew and Portis, bottle up that lane. Middleton's going to have to hit mid-range jumpers to get this team going.
Little 2-for-1 for the people, huh? So we're going Huerter and Middleton? Overs?
We are, and it's very similar to what I did last week. It's crazy.
Love it. Love it. Let's cash in.
I look at volume. Like I lost Devin Booker the other night, but I said if he puts up over 20 shots, he gets the number. Well, he put up 26 and didn't get there. So it was the way I wanted. He just didn't shoot it well. So if we can get what we want, 38 minutes out of Huerter, 12 shots, he's going to get there.
Love it. Love it. Dave gives you a little 4-packs for the 4th of July. Can't beat it. I'm going to go to my last game on the Diamond. And I'm going to go with a late night one tonight. This is where you can get your money back, right? Hey, you get to the end of the night, right? 10 o'clock Eastern time. Maybe today didn't go your way, right? Maybe you made some bad bets. You want to end things on a winning note. Take the Texas Rangers plus 128. Dogs. We're going Bucks. We're going Rangers. A couple things going on here, right? We got Jordan Lyles versus Marco Gonzalez. 9 times out of 10, I'm taking Marco, right? But not today, right? Lyles was dealing the last time he faced this Mariners team back in May, struck out 8 in 6 innings, right? So he has their number. We know the deal with Seattle, right? The Seattle Mariners atrocious against right-handed pitching. So we have that in play. And we have Gonzalez coming back off paternity leave. It's a different vibe, right? So that brings a lot of variance. Dave, like we both are fathers. We had young children. We went through it, right? There's a lot of things going on during that time. He takes a couple weeks off. Even if mentally he's ready to go and he's focused, he took 2 weeks off. So he could be a little bit rusty, right? So yeah. I think this is the perfect spot to take the Rangers here. I think you pounce on some plus money with the Texas Rangers, a little nightcap plus 128. Let's cash it in. Let's ring the register.
I love it. I love it. The Rangers are a perplexing team. I always, I feel like I want to take them. I did against Oakland one night. They got smoked. And then the next night, I took Oakland, they win. Like they're a team. Yeah, you got to pick them at the right time. And tonight, that sounds like a nice pick. I actually played that Gonzalez-Lyles last game over, I think it was. And it didn't hit because of how well Lyles played. So, yeah, I like your I like going dipping in the well. I love
Rangers will put hair in your chest.
Yeah, they will. Like that old whiskey. But hey, I like late night bets, so I'm sticking with you. I was scared you were going to take where I was going, but you didn't, which is okay. It would have been good too. And I'm going to sit here. I'm going to look. I don't love going with the big favorites, but tonight there's just too much value for me in going with the Los Angeles Angels minus 200 versus the Baltimore Orioles. Alex Cobb's on the mound. His expected ERA is about a run and a half lower than his current ERA. He's one with a very, very low home run rate at 0.51 right now per 9 innings. If you hit him, you got to hit him, and dink the ball around the park. That's not what the Orioles do. And on the other hand, the Baltimore Orioles have one Jorge Lopez going, who's letting up almost 2 homers per 9 innings and 21.9% home run percentage on his fly balls. So every 4th or 5th fly ball is out of the park. And we know what the Angels do because they got Shohei. That's right. S-H-O Tani hit 2 more last night to ring it up to 30. And he's getting a fly ball pitcher that loves to serve up those homers right on a platter. Oh, I really like this matchup tonight. Angels minus the 200. Close out the 3, now 4-pack. Let's go.
I love it, man. And I'll tell you what, it's every game you watch Ohtani, it's like they hold their breath every time he slides, anytime anything. No one wants to see him get injured. But listen, we're up on an hour. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you so much. Make sure you like and subscribe to Heat Ratio Sports Network. And we will be back. We will be back next week. So we'll be back Wednesday night for some golf. We'll be back next week. But hopefully everybody has a great, safe holiday weekend. Enjoy the winning bets. Enjoy the weekend. Play some sports. Have some fun. And we'll see you guys.